Hey, good morning everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for Wednesday, July 12th, 2017. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. Right now we have an ES that continues to be in a very narrow range overall, 2450 to 2400. Still rounded off behavior, but trending is still very much intact. Obviously, the market right now kind of in a wait-and-see mode with Fed Chair Janet Yellen coming up at 9 a.m. Central. We also have crude oil inventories later on as well. But right now, it's just not a whole lot going on in this range. But that could change at some point. I still believe that this range will likely contain price for the most part, and if we do drop out of it, it likely comes back in. Likewise, if it comes up, it could be pushed back in to widen the range and have more room to run here as we head into the summer. So right now, very difficult again to do anything at the center of this range from a swing perspective. Pushes into 2400 or even out of it would be fantastic opportunities to look to trap and reverse back toward value. So really not a whole lot to do right now, but the trend remains fully intact at the moment. On an intraday basis, right now, again, fairly modest within the range. We had a move higher for the most part yesterday after that news-related sell-off we got, and right now prices are holding right at or near the previous session's high, and that's where we are. We have VWAP sloping higher, and that would be an indication that pullbacks right now could be quietly bought for a push up, but at the moment there's nothing really clear far away to do in the ES at this time. If we take a look at CL, this one has had quite a rally from the 43.76s that we've been watching. This is something I talked about in our July 5th monthly market outlook, that if price were to push back into 43.76, that was an area that bulls want to defend for a shot at pushing this back toward 48.76. That could be about a 5-handle move. I haven't been very convinced of this entire behavior in crude, and I haven't had a whole lot of conviction behind this idea, but you can see that 43.76 has remained intact. The previous session had a stop run day where price pushed through the previous high and rallied right back into composite value. One thing I am noticing right now is that highs, so prices above the previous session high, has been rejected, at least initially, and that could lead to kind of a pullback day inside the range toward 45. I still believe that a pullback toward 45 would likely be defended for a continuation to at least retest highs, if not try to capture those 48.76s. But again, 43.76, very important, and prices right now kind of coiling a little bit toward an apex here around 45.66, which is short-term composite VPOC. That right there, eventually we could see a nice breakout from this range. But overall, nice bounce off 43.76. Short term, we're seeing prices rejected above the previous session's high. So here we are right here. If we bring this back, you can see again, this is the previous session's high here, and prices holding above that high, breaking back below, showing resistance at it, now showing resistance at the previous close, rounded off behavior. All of that right there implies that we could be making a move back down, back into the body of the previous range. So right here, 45.20, 45.10, that's about where the big breakout occurred. If there's any failure to regain or establish acceptance above 45.80, we could be looking at a push right back toward 45.20 and 45.10. Let's take a look at the NQ. Here's the NQ. Let's go higher time frame. In the NQ, we continue to see a hold within the larger key range. Very close to testing it before and failed. And then this is something we talked about in our trading room here. When you have a clearly defined trending market or an uptrend overall, and price holds below the previous month's close but cannot establish further downside price discovery, those late sellers here usually begin to get their stops run. And that gave us conviction yesterday that price would likely approach 57.29 and perhaps get back toward 5800 as well. So right now we have a nice clear up move here that's beginning. It's not super strong or bullish, but overall the expectation would be a quiet rally toward 5,800 as long as price can remain above the previous month's close price here, which is about 56.55 or so. So right now, just quietly pushing up within this range. But once price gets into 5,800 or 58.25 at the highest, there might be another rejection that brings this thing back down within the range. So keep that in mind. On an intraday basis right now, the previous session, the NQ was quite the leader. This one was quite bullish overall before the news. Once it came out, nice hold off of S3 and bounced right back to the point of origin after the news, which is something we were looking for in our trading room. And now prices are still above the previous session's high and holding. So pullbacks into 57.20, 57.18 could still be a buying opportunity for a continuation as this thing approaches 57.80, or rather 5,800 evens. Lastly, let's take a look at gold futures here. Gold futures, if you look at the higher time frame right now, you'll notice that after continuing downward this entire time, every little bounce has been a selling opportunity. And right now you can see again, prices above the 2-day highs here, rejected, and prices pushing back down. We have a downtrending market that has not stopped. There's no real rejection that we've seen, and instead every little bounce has been a selling opportunity. So this rejection here could lead to another round of new lows, and price may need to go down into the 1194 half zone before a turnaround occurs. That 1194 half is the bottom of the previous key range here. That's where price has been playing off of. And so far, this thing remains in a downtrending market. And with this rejection of highs here, that could lead to another round of new lows into 1194 by the end of the week. So again, rejecting those highs suggests new lows ahead. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck and trade well.